Hey guys, Future Dusty here, and I just wanted to clarify this episode is not really a podcast episode, as it turned out to be Dusty and Andrew argue about things episode. So we decided, just as a thing to do, that we're not going to edit this episode. We're just going to let you see how two friends, lifelong friends, just like to argue, and we're still friends afterwards, and that's how things are supposed to work. And at the same time, there's been things that I said that I probably don't really truly agree with, or things that Andrew said that was wrong, and or he doesn't agree with technically, or whatever. But just decided, hey, we'll just leave the thoughts are rolling, and hopefully you guys can learn something, or just listen until you're tired of the conversation, because we kind of just roll in circles for a bit, for like an hour and a half. So it's insane. It's too long to hear our voices in one sitting, for sure. So enjoy the episode, or don't enjoy the episode, or skip the episode. We'll see you next time. Hey everyone, welcome to the Bible Belt Bros podcast. Andrew,
Dusty.
I've been up for quite a while today because I am a 41-year-old man who still plays video games.
Oh, nice. I am too, but I didn't get up early.
Well, it's a goofy thing, but I do it for fun. But there's this YouTube channel that I help. I don't get paid at all. It's just for fun, but I helped them. Like, they were testing and trying to break the server for some upcoming video that they were doing. So I was basically participating in that. And I just thought, it'd be fun to do. It's Friday. I had to wake up at 4 a.m. because it's a bunch of people in Australia. So I was on their timeline. And yeah.
4 a.m. does not sound like fun. In no means. I don't care if I'm playing a video game or not.
I've had a full day today. Like, it's already, I've had an energy drink. I've had a cup of coffee. I'm rolling. And I was editing a podcast that still will be delayed even longer. And you'll finally hear it at some point. Maybe it comes after this podcast episode. We'll see. But
I doubt it.
Where I was very tired in the morning. So this is a different, if I wake up early enough, I can get through that grogginess.
Okay. You have been quite chatty this morning.
I have been chatty. Also, my family's group chat is a bunch of old people right now. My aunt, my dad, my uncle, my aunt, my other aunt. It's just, my phone's just been buzzing all morning, and I'm like, what is this group chat being about? There's not even a topic. It's just random craziness. I don't know.
Listen, I walked in, you took my picture and said, make fun of this guy.
Yeah, I told him stop making fun of me. Stop making fun of me, make fun of this guy. Yeah, and they just made fun of your beard. That's basically what they made fun of. Anyways.
And it's the same thing I hear every day.
Full context, Andrew and we've known each other since high school, and Andrew's came over to said family's Thanksgiving, where we played the newlywed game against my family, as Andrew and I as a couple versus them, and we won. So
Yep.
Yeah.
Winning question was, what color of underwear is the other one wearing?
Is the other one wearing? And he had it right on the
Nailed it.
Nailed it, man. Anyways,
because if you don't know the color of your best friend's underwear, are you really best friends?
Are you really friends at all? Yeah. I don't get it. But today, Andrew, we're going to talk a little bit about, when is it okay to miss church, kind of, because we've gone through the winter apocalypse here in Oklahoma, where
one of them anyways,
where we've had actual snow, which was really cool.
Yeah, that's strange.
Because normally we just get
ice.
Rain, sleet, ice, and then that's all it is. But we actually had, how many inches did we end up getting? Like 6 or 8 or 10?
I can lie to you.
The forecast was like 0 to 500 inches of snow. So I don't really know where we landed, but I think it's around 6 to 10 inches in most places. But it was actual powdered snow. The temperature was like 19 degrees Fahrenheit, and it was just a lot of staying inside for me. But my dog, who's 50% husky, loved it. And we would go on walks, and she's just frolicking around, living her best life.
Yeah, Lisa's dog. he would go outside and just roll around in it. He loved it too.
Yeah.
Little palm tree. We were afraid we'd lose him.
But what happens with the weather is cancellations of Sunday church, of Wednesday church, and that just really sparks a debate online of people saying, you should never cancel church. We need to worship God, on Sundays. It's the Sabbath day. And other people saying that the church is not the building, it's the people. And you see a lot of churches go online. And then we had Wednesday night cancel with the youth. And even though the roads were still, they were
fine.
According to him, we're fine. It depends on the road because I went walking in complete, still snow-packed roads that were never paved. So it just kind of depends on what roads have traffic, in my opinion. But they canceled it mainly because of the overnight freeze that we get out of youth. Typically, at the earliest we'd ever get out is 8 p.m. And so it's already dark and you're having all these teenagers on the road. What's the risk, And so there's debate there. Should you do that? Should we have maybe had youth, since they canceled school, had it during the day? Like, what could we have done differently? And so let's just bring up that topic, Andrew. I think you and I are on opposite sides.
For the most part. Some parts were on the same. But yeah.
And I want full disclosure of myself. Anything that I say comes from a guy who loves canceled plans. Okay?
Yes.
I am an introvert, and if you want to show me love, if you want to show that you care, make plans with me and then cancel them. Okay?
All right, and then so let's just full disclosure on me. Mm-hmm. I am a guy. This would be would say it's my tism is you make a plan, you stick to it. You don't waver, you don't change it, you don't alter it. You do it.
It's like your military mindset.
Right? It's like
at 0800 hours, we will have this thing happen.
Right? It's like you're being a man of your word.
Well, and for Sunday church, I also I didn't serve this weekend, but it also is, the production team and the band. I saw TikTok memes of them having, when they're like, oh, we're going to have church. Well, those people have to get there 2-3 hours earlier than everybody else. So they're having to actually brave through the hard stuff before things are even starting to melt in the morning because they have to get there to
I get that, and I took that into account. But I also took into account that we could have changed and just done an acoustic set instead of having the full band there. I mean, you live, a mile away and can play acoustic. So
yeah, I would not have answered the phone.
But
Randall knows. Randall already knows. He's the main guy that schedules all of our worship team.
Randall can play acoustic too?
Randall knows that when he calls me and I see his name pop up, I don't answer it until he says on the voicemail if he's needing help or not. And usually he says, I'm not trying to schedule you. Please answer your phone.
Yeah.
And I'll answer it.
But so we have enough of our musicians that live so close to our church. You're not even the closest. There are closer people who, push comes shove, could just walk there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's cold. Now, and this may come off wrong. I don't know. I don't think Kyle will take this wrong because he's not sensitive. But I don't remember a time when Rusty ever canceled Sunday church. Am I wrong, Dusty? Do you remember a time?
I don't. I know he was an avid proponent of if you can make it, make it.
Right. Don't risk it if you can't, but if you can make it, make it.
Yeah, I guess we'll just go into it. Here's my side of that is I have been a person who's been in that mindset or been in that scenario. I didn't work at a church. We were snowed in. The roads were pretty okay. They did have a Sunday service, and it's not like that. You got a little bit of a guilt because a lot of times you don't go to those things and people are like, this was the best week ever. The Lord really showed up, and you missed it. And you kind of still have that, if this person can make it and they're a couple minutes from you, then you couldn't make it. Come on, what's the difference? And so you have that. And then I've gotten in a wreck trying to get to church on a Sunday morning, and who has to pay for that? The church, because I took it out of my tithe.
The person who caused the wreck.
No, well, I mean, it was just me. I slid into a ditch from the ice, and and I had to like get the tow truck to pull out, all that kind of stuff that happens. Yeah, and you're saying like it's my fault, but the only reason I'm even on the road is because I'm having to go participate in an hour service.
That's it. Don't risk it if you can't make it.
But you don't know. It's like
you don't know.
You don't know until you get out, and so you're kind of
because I got stuck actually on Saturday. I think it was Saturday. No, it was Monday. I got stuck on Monday.
Yeah. So, but you don't know. Like Shay's boss was saying, like, hey, if the roads are fine, go ahead and come in if you want.
I would not have been there Sunday, but don't cancel. But they did do an online worship encounter in which we did participate in. Mm-hmm. It was very weird to me because it was only published to Facebook.
They just did it weird. That's why. Like they didn't go live. Actually,
right? They didn't. Yeah,
I've already talked to people about. What are you doing?
It sounded like when Michael started that it was pre-recorded. If you're seeing this, then Snowpocalypse happened. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And so it seems like it was pre-recorded like on Friday or something. Okay, see? I called it. Anyways, it was weird. They should have taken it live instead of and also should just put it straight to YouTube as well.
Yeah, I've already talked about that. But if you're in a church situation, because more people that don't go to our church listen to this podcast, but
right.
So one of the things that comes out of that is we choose Facebook because it's the most shareable platform. It's easy to share. Like if you're commenting on stuff, Facebook's going to share it for you. It's not, if you're commenting on a YouTube video, it's not going to all of a sudden show up in your social media feed.
Right, I get it.
So there's some of that. But in the moment when you're trying to have a house church scenario where families are watching together, Facebook doesn't really have an option to put it on the TV.
Right.
Like even our, like I'm a little more technology advanced, and we've got an HDMI that I got it going into a computer whenever we want to watch stuff that's computer only.
I just I shared it from my phone to my TV.
Oh, you pushed it to your phone from your phone to your TV. Some TVs don't do that, but you know what a lot of TVs have now is smart TV with the YouTube app, and that's the way you can easily go about it.
That is actually how I looked. I went to YouTube on my TV and looked Church That Matters, and I was like, it was 10:02. I'm like, it's not up yet, and Lisa got on her phone and it was online. Yeah, and then Facebook isn't really a video watching platform, and so the way they formatted it when you try to watch it on a computer on Facebook was the weirdest. They tried to. The computer put it in reels. It was like full screening on your phone, but it wouldn't full screen on the laptop. So weird. That is weird.
But so I sent a picture because I was like, I'm watching it on our TV because we're trying to watch it as a family, not everybody sync up our videos together on our phones separately.
That's what we did. I made everyone come downstairs. We watched it on the TV.
And so it's just more of trying to build that. But that was perfectly fine to have something like that.
I agree.
To me, like, we go through this every year. Every year there's going to be 1 to 3 weeks that's sketchy of whether or not you're going to cancel or stay open, right? So I feel like every church in the country, no matter where you are, should have some contingency plan in place.
Absolutely.
Maybe some pre-recorded things that you don't even have to do it the week of. If you didn't want to stay on, you could do like a one-off.
Kind of like we do with our podcast.
Yeah, you'll find out maybe next week of how behind I was on some of these episodes getting them out. but all I'm saying, and like my wife brought up the fact that people's hairstyles change. It would be obvious that it wasn't now, but. But like you could have a band play. Like think back of COVID. It was only 5, 6 years ago. Changing the date. It was only 5 or 6 years ago when churches were having to do it all the time remotely, right? And so all of a sudden we just forgot how to do that. And so that's what. I mean, Oklahoma, we didn't really shut down very long.
Yeah, we never shut down.
For most of the country up north, you guys up in Michigan and stuff, you guys.
Are you guys even open yet?
Yeah, they're still
shut down.
Masked up there. So.
Oh my goodness.
But I just want to say, like, we had an opportunity. We had like a glimpse of what life could be like, right? And it's like we made it work. That moment, like I still like get so upset with the terrible mic situation people have when they do their Facebook lives.
Yes.
Why aren't they using a Rode mic that hooks up to their phone so that they can be mic'd personally and has a noise canceling around them.
Right.
And you're still recording straight from your phone in a room that's echoey and we can barely understand what you're saying. Why are we still doing that today? Like, why is that? Who is in charge of your media department?
So, and I don't want to take any shots at our recording, but what kind of got me was
oh, that's funny.
They kept doing these wide angles, but Michael never moved from that podium. But they kept cutting camera out to the wide angle camera as if he was pacing back and forth to keep him in frame. I'm like, come on, guys. We already know this is pre-recorded. We know he's not going to move.
Life Church pre-records their stuff. You know, like there's a lot of churches that already do that anyway, especially if they are more video-driven.
They don't pre-record. Well, they do pre-record, but they record like Friday when he does his original sermon, and then they play it the rest of the
Not always. Yeah. I've gone there when he goes on speaking engagements. He preaches still in front of like a live
audience
group, but it's a much smaller group, and it's not like it used to be. Like he preach a sermon and then you just replay the sermon after. That's not how it always is. And if you think about it, they do like at the movies and things like that. Right. Like that's not how it always is, you know. So all of those are pre-recorded 100%, you know. So anyway, all of those things, like there's ways to do it. And I just think that every church should be a part of their process to know like, hey, 3 to 5 times a year, 1 to 3 times a year, we should just at least have the SOP ready.
Absolutely.
You know, we should at least have what we're going to do, when we're going to make that decision to do it, all of those things ready kind of in hand.
And it did seem like our church did, so we're not necessarily getting on our...
Yeah, we're making fun of how they posted it. It's not necessarily that they didn't have that ready.
They did have the SOP because they did it.
They didn't have the SOP in my mindset of how to post it, like still all of that whole process.
Okay, yeah, the posting process.
Because they were unsure, when I talked to them, they were unsure how to go live with the pre-recorded stuff. And I was just like, just do it.
Yeah.
Like, they thought they had to use a different software, and they didn't.
So essentially what they just didn't know to call you.
Right. Call the gamer. He knows.
Yeah, call the gamer, or maybe the guy that also does this kind of for a living. Yeah,
I do that too. But all of that to say, it is more of every church should have that kind of in that SOP. They pre-planning for things. Like when I owned Inkwell, a screen printing company, every year it would all of a sudden be football season, and we're like, oh my God, we need football gear.
Right.
We need football designs like every year. So why didn't we just pre-plan?
Yes. Yeah.
And so when you start like getting that ahead of time, maybe it all of a sudden a snow day isn't a freak out. Like a snow day is way more stress for the church staff trying to figure out what to do, get the communication out to everybody.
Well, and the only reason it's really stress is because you can't plan. You can plan on football. You can plan on Christmas. You can't plan on a snow day.
Yeah, but if you have the SOP and your team ready to go,
then it's
a little different.
Right.
Yeah.
So anyway, should we cancel? I don't think we should have. Like I said, I wouldn't have been there because I live way out in the boonies-ish. Yeah. And I tried leaving on Monday morning. The roads were clear-ish, and I still got stuck. And a big truck had to come pull me out because Lisa's Jeep Grand Cherokee could not pull me out.
I took my son back to his mom's house on Sunday afternoon, and I still had to push somebody out on my way back to help them. And then there was a car getting towed.
I was wondering what was taking you so long.
No. I had to push somebody out. That was because they were in like my intersection. They were in the way. I couldn't get out. So I pushed them out of the way, and then as I was taking my son home to his mom's, there was a guy stuck kind of going up this long hill, and he was getting towed out. And I was like, well, mental note, I'm going to take this a little faster at the bottom so I can get the momentum to go up this hill. And but yeah, it was.
Yeah, so I taught my daughter and her friend a valuable lesson that trucks, even with four-wheel drive, suck in the snow unless they have weight in the back. Because I have nothing in the back of my truck. And I knew this going in. As a matter of fact, I had made a plan to go to Lowe's and buy sand, throw it in the back of my truck, and I just never did it. Anyways, so let's we've kind of hit Sunday. Let's talk about Wednesday.
Well, Wednesday, so the roads were better. Most of the Shay says they're not. I haven't gone in as many walks as her, but she like just walks up the neighborhood,
right up
the road, and that still was terrible, like unplowed. So it basically comes down to, like, if I go to Life Church example, on Sunday, they already canceled Wednesday service. Like, they're not waiting till the day of. Some churches I've seen, they were going by, if school's canceled, we're canceled when it comes to midweek programs. Yep. I just think, I was telling Shay, I think Life Church, they're a mega church, right? They have tons of locations.
And liability.
They're more likely to get sued if a kid gets, in a wreck. And
right.
You say, well, we didn't tell them to come, but you have the peer pressure aspect that you're putting on this, and you have the aspect of, how people look at you or view you spiritually if you choose not to, and they, in anything, if somebody chooses to go to practice or go to church, you're going to have different viewpoints of your life based on those decisions from your coach side and from your church side.
And I'm going to throw in another tidbit on this is these teenagers, a lot of them, well, quite a few of them, and in some churches, a lot of them have jobs where they're going to work. And in this case, I know my daughter has friends who had work on Tuesday and they made it to work. So if these kids can get out and go to work or go to Walmart or go do other things, then why can't they make it to church? They can. I'm just going to say they can if they want to. And so you're still going to have those kids who aren't going to come because they don't want to, and they're just going to use the snow as an excuse. You're going to have some kids who legitimately can't get out, and their parents don't want to risk it, and that's fine. But at least make it an option. Go ahead, have youth. If they don't come, they don't come. That's okay. You don't hold it against them.
So I guess my question with all of that, because you even brought up we could have had a shorter version.
Yes, or had it earlier in the day. And in both of those things, my thought is how much do you remove to where then it's still valuable? Because you know what, or to where it's still worth it. So like if we shortened and we only did 2 songs and we did a 15-minute sermon and we're out within an hour, then you're just discounting it. Like, is that still church then? Are we still worshiping the Lord? Question mark. We already have 2 encounters. We have in middle school and high school. So just create 1 instead of 2.
I just think that's a lot more communication, trying to get people say, oh, they're having youth. And then you also have to be like, oh, but it's also at this time instead of this time.
It's just communication, though. Communication is easy. I mean, we can put out via Facebook. We can put out, they all have text.
Yeah.
And we have not constant contact, but we have a program like that where we can push text to the masses. Communication is not hard. So if that's your argument, then
my argument is like changing a lot of things.
I know change is hard.
You're changing a lot of things last minute to accommodate, and then you're still shortening everything, because what we're doing by combining on a Wednesday, all you're doing is just removing the small group aspect.
No, because the middle school still has small group.
And then the high school don't?
No.
Middle school doesn't even
what I
drive.
was saying is just instead of having the high school start at 7, have the high school start at 5 with the middle school, or 5:30, sorry. Have them start at 5:30 with the middle school and just do 1 middle school, high school combined. And then they break out and they do their
But you don't know what
groups.
you're asking, because then you're having, make sure everybody in a band who, I guess some of them are kids.
Yeah,
some
do
of
an
them
acoustic set again. If you can't get
the
full band there.
You know what? I hate everything about that. The fact that here's what I hate. You can't have any kind of church service or anything without music. As a musician, I say this, that anytime you have an idea, it's like, oh, we're just going to cut the sermon and have 4 songs. It's never the other way around.
But I'm not even saying that.
You're saying have an acoustic set. That doesn't make it easier. That actually makes it harder for me.
It makes it harder for you, yes, because you are the lead of the youth worship band.
But you can't do an acoustic set with still a full band.
But that's only if the full band can't make it. If the full band can make it, then you don't have an issue.
I will say our full band is literally, as far as a band goes, is myself on acoustic, drums, and tracks. So technically the band is there as long as people don't work jobs and they don't get off till 5, and you're wanting to start earlier. So we're already getting there at 5:15.
I'm
already getting there at 5:15.
Middle school starts at 5:30.
I'm already getting there at 5:15 to rehearse for a service that doesn't really start till 7:15.
I know that is a little crazy to me. Our current setup.
It's the only way to do it.
But I get you. Unless you come in like a day before.
But my whole point is like at some point, so you're saying forget the risk. We had a whole lock-in on New Year's Eve because of people might be out on the roads and there's drunk drivers.
Mm-hmm.
What's the difference between that and then we're having church, but we're going to send you home after dark, regardless. It gets dark at 6. We're going to send you home. You can drive. Stuff starting to freeze over.
I don't think that it was the New Year's party was sending people home because of drunk drivers. That was just a cool thing to do. Lock-ins are a thing of what we used to do all the time in the 90s, and that was the coolest thing ever. And so that
wasn't how it was explained.
These new youth pastors trying to bring it in and bring it back and make it relevant again, essentially.
Sorry, this is a completely side note, but you know how like we did a podcast on Romans, and then the next week
everything was Roman,
and then last week's episode, I believe, I said, hey, we're going back. Things are pulling back to old school things, and now we're gonna start having like altar calls again.
Yeah.
And then that same Sunday, I like look on the schedule. I'm doing a rehearsal on a Thursday, and I'm like, oh, there's a song after the sermon, and it was an altar call song. It was like, am I in a twilight zone where I'm just a week ahead of everything that is already pre-planned?
Quickly, let's make some bets.
Yeah. I was like, holy moly. And then it was on the Sunday that was canceled, there was another altar call song, 2 songs at the end. It was such a weird, like, what are we doing?
Yeah, so again, I'm not saying water anything down. I'm not saying cut anything. I'm not saying cut music. And listen, I am the guy that if something's going to get cut the music, because I'm not the music guy.
Yeah.
And so, but I'm not even saying cut music.
But I know we were going to have a guest speaker or a student speaker type of situation, and for him to have a third of the crowd there.
Perfect. Be flexible, and move him to the next week, and then
have somebody who didn't have a sermon ready.
They should have had something ready. That's on them if they didn't have it ready. I promise you, Kyle and Rusty.
Right.
I promise you,
we'll
these
put
guys
your name on the list
and have something ready.
We'll put your name on the list of people who are going to be ready in season and out of season for when snow day happens.
Except I'm not a pastor or a preacher, so
it doesn't matter.
That's not my
Neither
calling.
was the person that was going to be preaching.
No, but again, you move him. They were asked. I wasn't asked.
Oh, okay.
So if you ask me and I say yes, then yes, I would be ready.
Let's somebody ask Andrew to just have on a SOP plan that he has a snow sermon ready to go.
But I still have to agree.
But he also won't be there.
Right. But I still have to agree to it, Dusty.
He also won't be there, but you better.
Right.
Because church should not close. Because it's all about what happens on the Sundays and not what happens the rest of the week.
Did I say that at all? I didn't say that.
I mean, you're implying it.
I didn't even imply
that.
You're
implying
I never implied that.
You're implying it.
Because I also said we should be there Wednesday. So it clearly Sunday and Wednesday matter. Just the joining of the body matters.
Yeah.
And so we shouldn't be canceling our weekly joining of the body. I mean, this is the only time a lot of these people are going to join with other Christians.
Yeah.
And get spiritually fed. And this is not how it should be at all, but unfortunately it is. We wait until Sunday to have our encounters.
Let's not change how it should not be. Let's just continue to make it all about the encounters.
Why should we take away the one time when majority of people are going to meet with Christ?
Because that's not true religion.
It's not. You're right.
True religion is what? Let me look it up real quick.
It's not. I agree. But unfortunately, that's how a majority of people live their lives. I would say. Dusty goes to ChatGPT.
Well,
because Chatty knows everything.
No, I'm just looking up. It's in James chapter 1 or 2. I can't remember. I'm just going to see if it finds. Yes. Okay. NLT. True religion is this. Pure and general religion in the sight of God the Father means caring for orphans and widows in their distress and refusing to let the world corrupt you. Has nothing to do with worshiping me on specific days of the week with other people. I get that it's still a good thing, but there's still, like, that's where It's not the same.
But
I
does
get
does the Bible not also tell us to meet together?
It does. Don't forsake assembling together.
Right.
But it doesn't necessarily. To me, like that's where having a live chat, or when COVID, we had youth, we had Rusty coming over to my house playing video games, had people in a live chat talking to them, had somebody pre-record a sermon. Like there was a lot of things going into, like how we hang out in Discord a lot and have calls like that. You can do stuff like that.
You can.
I think our the church in general, is so one-track mind on how to do ministry because we've done it this way for centuries.
So you use Chatty. I just used Google. What does the word forsake mean?
Okay, well, let's see.
I'll give you the quick answer. It means abandon. So what did we do Sunday? We abandoned our service. We forsook our service on Sunday.
Okay, so you're saying
body.
Do it once and you've abandoned it. It's been abandoned.
In that case, yes. You abandoned that week.
But we didn't abandon the concept
Not the concept, but it doesn't say forsake the concept.
But then you're saying that the only way to gather together is in person.
Did I say that either?
Yes.
Matter of fact, no, I did not. And I also even prefaced it. I said a lot of these people only meet once a week. You and I, we don't. We meet multiple times a week. And I'm not saying you and I together, but I'm saying we meet with other bodies of Christians.
I also meet when he bribes me on Discord with with things.
This is true.
First person to come play this video game with me gets this prize.
Right. I did that twice yesterday.
And I answered a call both times. Anyway.
Yeah,
I get that, but my thought process in all of this is that we go back to the beginning of Frank Viola, and we put so much into the Sunday morning aspect that we forsake assembling together in other ways of our lifestyle, and we've now made the temple again, and we're saying these things can only happen in the temple. And if the temple's not open, we're not meeting with God today.
With our church, and this is a great problem our church has, a phenomenal problem that our church has. We have a ton of new Christians. And that is the best problem I feel a church could ever have, because that means we're discipling, or we're getting out there, we're preaching, we're getting people engaged, and we're actually discipling. We're doing what we're called to do. So that is a great thing. These new Christians haven't connected with other Christians yet. So yes, Sunday is going to be the only time in which they do get to meet with other Christians. And so why cancel
in person?
In person, yes. Well, or even, it doesn't matter if it's in person.
So you're saying our Facebook chat, when they talk to people and people are engaged in there,
that's great.
You're saying that's not the same.
No, that's great, because they're still engaging. They're connecting with other Christians. Yeah. Did we do that this past Sunday? No, we did not. We didn't go live. So we didn't have that Facebook chat.
Well, I agree on that.
But why cancel a encounter when you can make it there? Why cancel? Now, if we had 12 feet of snow, completely different. But the roads were semi-drivable. Mm-hmm. The people who live close could have made it. And I've already prefaced, I wouldn't have been there. That implies that if you can't make it,
and that implies that you forsaked assembling together.
No, I didn't forsake it, because I would.
You abandoned.
I would have joined the live, because if we had met, we would have gone. We would have gone live, and I would have.
Then you
joined
didn't even
have
to have church open. That's like, well, I don't know what you're saying. You're saying do it church open, but if you do a pre-recorded live, that's fine too. So your whole argument is based off of the video wasn't live. That's your whole argument.
Not, I mean, if you want to boil it down to that, you could, but no, that's not. Because being able to...
Because you're not abandoning, you're not forsaking if you're watching it live on video.
No, because there's still the accountability aspect of showing up in person versus showing up online.
Cool, so then you would have forsaked assembling together.
I wouldn't, no.
But you're watching it on the computer and you're saying that's not the same.
No, accountability-wise, a lot of people wouldn't. I'd love to see.
Oh, you're just saying people wouldn't do it,
right? I would have loved to see the analytics.
Well, we had thousands of views on our Facebook, but it might have been me trying to figure out how to work it,
or me refreshing it 10, 20 times because the feed kept cutting out.
But But Andrew, I really don't get, because the same thing is, if church is open and people don't get to church because it's not there and they don't watch the live, then it's still their fault. I don't get your argument, because you're just trying to say the church should be open with physical people in it, which
Yes.
they were helping people who were homeless or didn't have warmth. Well, there was already stuff going on there. To an extent,
they kicked them out at what, 8 a.m.?
Yeah, you say kicked them out. We partnered with other places that took care of them during the day
them
to
out.
feed them and stuff. But we were the overnight help,
right,
for that kind of thing. But what I'm saying is that, like, you're saying...
So you just proved that we could have gotten to our church. And the people that could have done stuff could have gotten to the church.
Sure. People could have gotten stuck on the way to church. Yep. People could have gotten wrecks on the way to church. Absolutely. And then they wouldn't have watched the live. And so then they abandoned and they didn't get out of the car and keep walking to the
they
temple.
didn't abandon because they attempted.
But they still didn't do it. They still didn't. They could have got on their car and walked the rest of the way. Get to the temple, because that's where we can hear from the Lord. I don't know, Andrew. This is just an argument episode, but I don't understand your logic.
Well, I don't understand your logic of cancel everything.
Because there's other ways. I'm not saying don't have a live.
You literally said your love language is when people cancel plans on you.
Yeah.
And so you're like, so you would love it if every Sunday then was canceled.
Probably, especially if I served.
And see, that's the wrong, to me, that's the wrong attitude to have.
That is the wrong attitude to have.
You shouldn't, I would never want it canceled. I want the ability to be able to go and to worship with fellow believers, because I struggle. I have issues that I need to see other people and talk to them and have accountability. And so that is what Sunday offers me. Can you do that on a Google Live Facebook feed? Can you go in there and say, hey, I'm struggling with this addiction this week?
You can't. Do you do that in the lobby? Do you go tell the people that you're struggling with this addiction?
Absolutely.
And you just wait till Sunday to call them?
And I have people that will come up and say, hey, how are you doing on this on Sunday mornings? Yes,
there's also a telephone, Andrew, and there's also
And guess what? I get those texts too.
So
I get that.
What is your point?
Oh my goodness, Dusty. Dusty, your issue is you don't like people enough to
No, my issue is that the only way to do church is in person, and if I can make it, you can make it. And then I have tried to make it. I've had issues getting there, stuff like that. And I was never talked down on when I do miss it or whatever like that. Like, I'm not saying anything like that, but sometimes those thoughts are internalized, where if I'm not there but this person's there, but what I'm saying is there's no reason to put your church body at risk physically, mentally. What's it take for it to be like, oh, that was wrong?
You say there's no reason. I would argue that.
Hold on, let me finish my thought. But when we have other avenues, such as watching it live together, a phone to talk to your accountability group, like that's why we say we move people to house church. When we go to a Sunday morning, most people have the conversations, the check-in conversations, whatever, at the lobbies of people you already talked to throughout the week. And then we go sit and the lights turn off and we sing a couple songs together. The lights come back on. Somebody speaks and then there's a little bit of an altar call. Same stuff we get there. Nobody's talking to each other during this time. And then we get out and, all right, let's go get some lunch with those people that you still talk. Like, we all still talk to the same people throughout the week that we talk to on Sunday. The people that you just talk to only on Sunday, you're not having your accountability check-ins. Otherwise, they're not an accountability partner. They're just this is the only conversations I ever talk to you about person. You know what I mean? But what I'm saying is, not always, but there's times where you look at the risk of what it's going to take to make this happen, and you look at the technology that we have to recall a verse in 2 seconds with AI or with Google in general, and not have to, like, let me spend 5-10 minutes. I know it's here somewhere and find it. And then, crap, it's the wrong version. Let me try to find the other version. What I'm saying is what your point is to cancel. Don't ever cancel the physical meeting. And my point is, in times, you can move the physical meeting to the homes but do it in a way that there's still a live chat. What you're saying is all these churches that have the live only campuses, like Life Church, let's bring that up. They have a
live only.
They have some live only community groups.
They do have some live only, but they also have a pastor that heads up all that as well.
I don't know. Like you're talking about two different things. I'm talking is it possible? Yes.
Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah, you're focused on the now, on how this one current structure is set up, and yeah, that structure doesn't work right now. Like, it doesn't work the way that it could work.
I'm not focused on, so I wouldn't say I'm focused on that. So you brought up another point where we were an overnight shelter for homeless or people who needed it.
Yeah.
Could those people not have attended Sunday and heard the gospel and come to Jesus, given their life to Christ? They see.
Why were they waiting till Sunday to hear the word when they're sitting in?
Because they don't know. They don't know. You can't expect the lost to know what to do. When it comes to knowing Christ.
What I'm saying is, there's people, like, when we're opening our doors, we're not just giving them a place to sleep. We are sharing Christ to them, and they don't have to freaking wait until Sunday morning to get saved.
I agree. Dusty,
your point is everything has to happen through the funnel of a temple.
No, you were there Sunday, or you were there an overnight. Did you talk to anybody about Christ?
Nope, nobody showed up on the night that I was there. There was somebody that the police, they were calling around trying to find a place that kept a dog and stuff, and we were like, yeah, definitely come, and we got stuff ready, but I didn't sleep there.
Gotcha. Okay, so, and I'm not saying you wouldn't have, but I don't know who else stayed overnight. Well, actually, I do know one person, and I know that person probably would not have shared, and they would have waited. So you can't put yourself as the example in every scenario, because there are other people who aren't comfortable sharing, and they're not going to. And they are going to wait until Sunday, until a pastor can talk to them. Or not even Sunday, maybe wait till the next day when a pastor can talk to them. Because that's who they feel.
You're saying wait till Sunday. So they've been
I'm not
sleeping
saying
there
wait till Sunday at all.
Then what?
I already told you that you and I meet with other believers throughout the week. Mm-hmm. And clearly that's not a wait until Sunday stance. But there are people who are going to wait until Sunday. And those are the people that need the church open more. I'm not saying open it for me. I do say, yes, I get a benefit out of it. But there are people who are going to wait until Sunday.
So I just don't know what because you're all over the place. Because one, you're talking about people who are already saved forsaking assembling together.
Right.
And then you're saying that if you don't go to physical church, you are forsaking it.
Church is not just for the saved. Church is for the lost.
But that verse is for the saved.
Right. That single verse is. You're right.
You're having two things. You're having and
I know. I'm giving multiple reasons for having the church open on Sunday. It's not just one reason.
I understand you. Okay. I just don't. I just don't understand.
At this point, Dusty, I feel you have a mental block that you don't want to.
I feel like you have a mental block. I feel like
I've given multiple reasons to have the church open.
Yeah, and I'm giving
Sunday.
multiple reasons of why we go again back to how this thing started.
Don't electrocute yourself.
We focus so much on the Sunday temple aspect that we have lost everything. Like, we have lost the Holy Spirit here is with us, people in the Acts getting saved daily, all of these things happening, and then you're like, the argument is, if the church is not open on Sunday morning from this time to this time, because this is the time that's always open, or even a variation of that time to make it convenient for everybody, then people aren't going to get saved, and people aren't going to, you know what? People might die
people
to get there,
right.
and they will die not saved
so
because they didn't get there in time.
Okay, so the temple model was for believers and for Christians. What about the people who aren't Christians? What about the people that may have stayed overnight? I don't know if anyone did on Saturday night going into Sunday, but if they may have, and that was their time to actually meet other Christians and to actually have conversations. I mean, that's.
I mean, I think our God is bigger than that.
I
to
agree.
Be 100%. No, you
But
don't.
I do agree.
No, you
but
don't.
that is God putting them in our path. The way I would have seen it is God put them in our path. That God put them there. God opened our church to be a sleeping station or a warming station, and so now it's our job to share the faith with them. Is that person who's sleeping overnight comfortable enough to do it? I can't say they are. I can't say they aren't.
Yeah, this has lost the whole point.
No, because the whole point was, should we have closed or not? You're saying we should have. I'm saying we shouldn't have.
Yeah, and I'm saying at one point, especially on a Wednesday, at one point, we went to high school together. 3 of the 4 years, we had somebody die in a car wreck.
Yeah.
And at what point...
I don't know that stat, but...
It was 3 out of 4. That somebody in our class, I think. Maybe it was just somebody in our high school. But either way, like, to me as a leader, to make a decision to have church for just the people that can make it, and it's based off of what I think if they can make it or not. If something were to happen negatively, doesn't have to necessarily be death, but just negatively, I have to own that. I have to own that was me, because that's a decision I made, and half the time those people are making the decisions out of pride. Sometimes you could say they're making it out of money, because the statistics show that when the church isn't open on a Sunday, some people
they
don't
lose
give
money. Yep.
And so that's
and
my
I'm not
thing.
even coming from that aspect at all.
Yeah, I wasn't coming from that aspect, but that's just my thing as far as some reasons why people open the church. And we grew up in a place that probably never closed the church, and then I moved here.
But we all lived within 3 miles of our church.
I didn't. I lived 10 miles. I lived out in the country, Andrew. And so that's my whole point is that, I don't know. I just, at some point, if somebody died on the way to your youth event that you either made mandatory for whatever reason, or made it even seem mandatory, you're making it seem mandatory that forsaking, because you're having to make it a decision of whether or not I can go, but you haven't been out all day. So you don't know the roads are bad, really, until you actually get out on the roads. And so those people, like you getting stuck, what if somebody was right behind you and pushed you further out? I
wouldn't have been stuck anymore.
But you know what I mean? Like, at some point, the church is accountable, and then you have to decide, was this hour service, in person only, worth it when there's so many other options to reach people that, I mean, you can even say this, like, there's a lot more preachers getting their message out now through TikTok,
right,
than they are getting through their Sunday morning in-persons. And so then at that point, you know what I mean? It's just more of, my problem is that the church is a lot of a one-track, this is the only way, this is the way we've done it for years and years, this is how the system is set up. And then we look at the way society works, and it is way different than that. People are connecting in communities virtually everywhere. And then we are saying, yeah, so Dusty, but this person...
In order for that to be correct,
mm-hmm.
you have to go back and change 2,000 years of how everything's been done.
No, actually, I guess it's about 2,000 years when they started rebuilding the church back into a building. Actually, more probably like 1,500 years, but yeah.
You have to go back and change 2,000 years of how it's always been done, because lost people don't know our new methods.
But do you know who made that method? Let's go back to method that we have.
We don't need to go back. No, we don't need to go back. We need to talk about now. We don't care about that.
Okay.
You want to change the now, so we need to talk about the now.
Okay. I want to talk about Acts.
We've already talked about...
I don't want to talk about what our modern-day Christianity looks like, exactly, and the structure that we do it.
No, because we have to talk about that because you want to change it. And you want to go back to a church of Acts, which our church did during COVID.
So I'm happy to know that your thoughts on pagan Christianity when we started has changed.
Well, I've told you this 1,000 times. My thoughts on pagan Christianity have changed. I mean, we've even talked about reviving some of those things and talking about it. So yes, my thoughts, just like Frank Viola's thoughts, we've asked him for comments, and he's like, "Dude, I've written so many other books since then. Things have changed." So even the author who wrote the book has changed.
Yeah, I guess on some of those things, if your argument is this is the way it's always been done. That I guess that's my argument back to you is this isn't the church from 2,000 years ago or 1,500 years ago, whenever we started coming back and meeting in a building again. But this is the 21st century.
But
people are connecting different ways.
Right.
And we're losing people as a church. We're losing connection with people because we're refusing.
I disagree because
we're
the church
refusing
is
to
actually
connect
growing.
with them until they show up on Sunday.
The church is growing right now.
The church is not growing right
It
now.
is. Literally, hold up. Now
Church started growing when Mr. Kirk died.
It was before that. I don't know. I'm not going to take the time to research it right now because it was an article I read before Charlie was killed. But it was about the revival happening in the United States right now. A lot of Gen X's are coming back to church, or are coming to church, not back to, because they weren't really ever in church. But
okay, that's not. I think you're just reading an article.
It was multiple articles, but yes. Anyways, I feel we've beat this horse.
Yeah, I don't know how I'm going to edit this because there's 15 minutes of just us back and forth.
I mean, just leave it raw and just have a long episode.
Okay. The title will be Dusty and Andrew Argue About Church Snow Days.
Okay.
Because that's all it is. And
to close or not to close? That is the question.
There's no close. Like, I don't think we're too far off in our opinions, but the way, because, I mean, you're, in my thought, I'm just rehashing it out, but my thought is you're saying that never close just in case somebody comes in the door, but it's okay not to come if you watch online. Is that what you're saying? Neither of those things are forsaking.
Okay, hold up. Say that again.
So, like, the church should never physically close. They should always have an option for people to show up, regardless of weather, interpretations of weather, yada, yada, yada. And you're okay not coming to that as long as you watch it live and connect with people in a chat.
If you physically cannot get to church, yes,
but people
I feel it's
don't
okay.
know if they physically can. You're making that decision for them.
No,
right?
They're making that decision because if they don't feel that they physically can, then I feel that they physically can't. If you're...
I say it because of this, because, like, my wife worked from home.
Right.
Obviously, the Monday.
Right.
Which is funny because, like, obviously Sunday, if the snow was coming through and their work was, like, obviously work from home, or nobody come into the office today, the roads are crazy, stupid, then her boss said, roads were fine for me when I was out today. If you think you can make it, come in. If you don't, don't. But she's like, I would have to physically go drive on the roads to know whether or not I'm okay getting to work. So I have to make the decision, no. I'm not going to just go drive around now. What's the point of not even going to work?
So that, to me, that argument is you just look outside your window or my road's clear? No? Okay.
That's
then.
not, yeah. But you don't know. Like, I took my son to my road was fine.
Right. And the side streets weren't.
The side streets weren't, but I didn't know that. My road was fine. You're saying look out the door. I live off a main road.
Well, no, because if you live on a side street, you know that the side streets are not good. If you get out on the road, your road was fine, and you're driving down the road,
okay, so you're saying
you see a side street is still covered in snow, then you don't go down it.
You're saying give the same option. So, like, break it down as long as, I guess, you can have one instrumentalist musician come and somebody preaching a sermon.
I mean,
then
what's wrong with the track music?
I mean, at that point,
I mean, I understand you're taking out the human aspect of it, but
at that point, then what is the goal?
To share Christ.
Why even have music in a sermon if you're just talking about you want to come together and have some accountability?
You're asking the wrong person for that one, because I'm not into the music.
Well, and
I just want the sermon.
Well, I'm saying the same thing. Like, why even have songs if this is if we're like,
I would say cut the music.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. And then if the person that's doing the sermon can't be there, or to have somebody do a speak, like what I'm saying is like, why don't kind of what you're reasoning for not forsaking assembling together has nothing to do with worship or the sermon. It has to do with the accountability and the relationships.
No, that is not. That is why I said I go. That is me personally, Dusty. The reason to have the church open is so that people can hear the gospel of Christ. The people who aren't
the church is open for lost people.
Yes, the people who aren't saved, they don't know that they can go online and connect with a house church. They know you go to church on a Sunday because that is the model that was established 2,000 years ago.
I think they would know that our church is probably online as well. If they
why take that risk?
Because for years it's been happening.
Right.
So if you don't think that this church might not have a live stream at this point, you're just dumb.
Okay, no,
because everything has a live stream. Let's just
throw this out there. A lot of our churches in Sand Springs, I can promise you, don't have live streams because a lot of our churches in our town are still older churches. They don't have the youth or the technology to do that. I would even say this Church of Christ right up the street, right up here, doesn't have it because that is a primarily older church.
Well, they also don't believe in music, right?
They have music.
That's a new tabernacle. That's what you're talking about?
No, well, I'm actually talking about the one up here by the fire
department. Is it Church of Christ or Church of God that doesn't believe in music?
I don't know.
They skip those verses.
Okay, so it's a church of something. It could be Christ. It could be God. I don't know, but I do know.
If they don't believe in. I was making a joke. If they don't believe in music, they probably don't believe in the internet.
Right. Yeah, a lot of Pentecostal churches may not have it. So there are a lot of churches that are not online. Our church is online. Do they know that? Not necessarily, because we don't have .tv in our name.
What other website do you go to watch that's .tv? YouTube.tv? No. No, it's YouTube.com.
Do they have a .tv though? They might actually have a .tv.
For their TV services.
Right.
You want to pay $80 a month.
But no, like Life Church started out as lifechurch.tv, so people knew that they were online. Mm-hmm. We are not churchthatmatters.tv.
Yeah, that was like, what, 20 years ago when they did that to try to prove a point? You know?
So
they probably still are Life Church.
I mean, they still have that domain, but they did rebrand to just Life Church.
Life.church.
Oh, that's right. It is because of the .church coming out. Mm-hmm. So see, they rebranded again.
Okay, I guess I still don't. I feel like I still don't understand how both are true. I guess that's my thing. How is both true to you?
Why does one have to be right, one have to be wrong?
Because you're still like
you're putting God in a box at that situation.
No, to me, you're putting God in a box of saying you have to come to the box.
No, I'm not. I literally said you don't have to. I even said I wouldn't have been there because my roads.
No, but you're saying, but it has to be open, and it is open, just not for church.
Right.
It was open, but not for church.
Was it open or did they go home at 8:00 on Sunday?
Huh?
Was it open on Sunday or did they go home at 8:00?
What are you talking about?
You said the church was open on Sunday.
I was there till 1 a.m.
No, a.m. So at 8 a.m. Okay, so we're an overnight shelter. 8 a.m.
I don't remember. I don't know what time they helped people get to other places, but there was somebody there on call to help facilitate whoever showed up at the door. But we were physically not saying, "Hey, we're here all day, every day."
Right.
We were saying, "Hey, these people have soup kitchens and stuff, but they don't have overnight." So, and we had police officers that if they would see somebody homeless on the street trying to stay warm, they'd bring him here to us. That was the situation.
Right. And that was, the fact that our town did that is phenomenal. And the fact that
Casey
our church
didn't leave once. So, there was somebody there all the time. Like that was the situation. Like Casey left when there was people there, but Casey didn't. He went next door. He didn't go home.
All right.
And so is that all we needed? Was somebody like, to me? The problem or whatever is if you do no songs in church, then what do you do online? The same thing?
No, you could have started the online 15, 20 minutes earlier, inserted music, and then done that if you wanted. I mean, there's so many different options.
That goes back to, yeah, but then now you're having two different experiences. But that goes back to having an SOP to like, hey, this happens every year, and we have the same argument every year. Should we cancel? Should we not?
That whole cut the song stuff was a different topic or a different segment.
You still need like people, like there's still volunteers to make it work. And we've talked about like if the church paid all their volunteers, how expensive that would be. We've had that discussion a long time ago. But even then, if you dumb down the volunteers and be like, all right, we're just gonna have one guy run sound, get one instrumentalist that can sing and play the instrument at the same time, and like that's your music time, and then you have then we'll have the sermon, like that cuts down, like, but then if you're doing a live feed, then you still need the camera people, the live stream people, then we still have people that are online to talk to people when they come into the chat. So there's a lot more, like
okay, and some of that, now we're getting in nitty gritty.
Yeah.
Some of that can be done remotely. The camera, you don't need camera people. You just turn the camera on one time. Just tell the speaker, don't move. And Michael didn't move. Mm-hmm. So the camera is going to be just solid the entire time. Music, yeah, you do need somebody to at the soundboard. Maybe. I mean, Michael's not really going to change. If we're cutting music. Now, if we're having music, then difference.
If we're physically having people there, you're going to have somebody running it.
Yeah.
You can't just turn it on.
I mean, yeah, you can have a skeletal. And then we get back to your point of having an SOP. Mm-hmm. You have people who can cover down, people who live close, who, yes, if all else fails, we can walk to church. And you just have something like that. I'm not saying that's the answer. Obviously, you get together, you think about it, you come up with an SOP, and then you do that. Now, if it's, and that is just this past Sunday. There are other scenarios like our ice storm of 2007. Cancel it. Absolutely. Cancel it. My issue wasn't necessarily this past Sunday when we canceled and really my issue wasn't
got stuck on Sunday.
I got stuck on Monday.
So you got stuck the day after.
Because overnight it freezes.
Which was why we canceled on Wednesday.
But Wednesday, I live on a country road. My road was clear. I could have easily made it.
Yeah.
And I got stuck on Monday, and I'm saying that. I could have easily made it on Wednesday because the road was 100% clear. There was no snow left on. And, I mean, yes, there was water trickling across. Could that water gotten in the cracks and froze and created a slick surface? Absolutely, that could have.
The black ice.
Yep, that could have. And so, anyways. Yeah, so there are times in which I say, yes, it's okay to cancel. But Sunday, I don't feel necessarily was that day. Could have been, yes. I obviously wasn't in Sand Springs. I couldn't have been able to tell. But that's that.
Yeah.
I feel we're at an hour already, and I know you're going to cut this down a little.
I'm probably not. I'm probably like,
I would say leave it.
I'm just not going to worry about it.
Yeah, I would say leave it raw. Because of it shows how passionate you and I are, and it also shows the different sides of the argument. And honestly, there's a lot to it. So,
yeah.
And
the argument about snow days really is an argument about the value of Sunday morning. That's
right.
Really what you're.
Exactly. That is, yeah. Because as you could tell, we got away from Wednesday pretty quick, and and when we came into this, Dusty, I thought this podcast would mainly be about Wednesday,
which was funny because Wednesday is more where I think your argument is better, except for my argument is the kids already suck at driving.
Right.
Let's put them on the roads at night.
And I see that.
But
I agree with that.
The fact that your argument of Sunday, where it had been snowing basically all day, every day for 2 days straight.
Mm-hmm.
Sunday morning, my road definitely wasn't. I couldn't get out of my driveway for sure. They didn't really plow these at all until Tuesday.
Right,
I think.
right. Yeah. Well, no, I don't know. I was in town on Monday.
I drove on my road on Monday, and I have to take that short hill.
Your county,
fast.
yes. So I have that same. That's how I got stuck. When I left my driveway, my driveway's on a little slope.
Mm-hmm.
I backed out, and I couldn't get going forward.
And so, but
right.
Sunday would have been your 07 scenario, and that's, I guess, to me is when has it become that? What?
I don't think it would have been. 07 was ice. This was powder.
Oh my God. Okay.
I mean,
everything was closed. I don't get it. I don't get your argument that to me it'd be more of there's somebody there if somebody does show up, and have pastors there to help share the gospel if that's your point. I guess that's the art.
Right.
It's a whatever.
I'm used to Rusty never canceling.
And as somebody who probably served for that, was super annoying because
I'm
more at risk because I'm one of the first people there and one of the last people that gets to leave because as a production band person, especially in that aspect where there was an end song as well, usually growing up.
Yep.
Or when we did one service as well, the service.
I'm thinking
was
Clyde
longer.
Boyd days.
Yeah, then Clyde Boyd days where you still had to we had to get there early and set up in a gym, all of those things. It doesn't. Because really, the setting up in the gym is no different.
Auditorium.
Auditorium.
Yeah.
But that setting up process to me, people are like, oh, I'm so glad I don't have to do that anymore. But it's we still, we did
band still shows up and.
Well, I still showed up there. Actually, later, I think we got there to set up at 7:15 because our service didn't start till 10.
Yeah.
And we had a longer service. We had more. We played games. We had way more things we got to do. And when you go to 2 services, you have to cut out all the fluff.
Yeah.
Cut out some of the prayer. We don't do prayer time every time. All those kind of things.
We do, don't we? Yeah, we do because we have a prayer team that always goes up top or up to the stage.
That's what we've done. But we know how we do the prayer responses. We do them from time to time or gather around people.
Yeah.
With you, we don't get to do things like that because we are on a bit of a time crunch when it comes to.
With 2 encounters.
We got to get the second encounter. They can maybe do some stuff, but then you're scheduling 2 different encounter things. Then you might as well just have one big one. All that to say is just more of, to me, is how much do you cut back to where you lost the value of coming on a Sunday where you could have gained much more value having a better online ministry. Maybe that's what I'm coming down to is
So really we need to improve our online ministry so that in the future, and maybe our SOP becomes our online ministry, but where we have a bigger impact on snow days or ice days or whatever. Because let's face it, we don't have snow days, dude. We have ice. We have ice days, yeah. But even
this was, to me,
weather days
in general.
Right.
It's really just when it comes down to it,
yeah.
When is the risk reward factor for you and your body of Christ? Because the pastor is a shepherd. He's overseeing the flock, not the people that could become the flock. And so in that aspect, when are you not protecting your flock for what?
Mean, to me,
you know what I mean? When there's, as a better pastor, I would think you would come up with other opportunities instead of just one main opportunity to connect your church together. And we do that with house church. We do that. We do that with online communities. I've talked about with our youth. I didn't know if Discord would be a better way to connect with our youth throughout the week instead of adult leaders texting their kids every time as a check-in. What if we had a Discord group?
Discord would have been better. Or would be. Still would be.
You could have, your separate groups for the different age groups or whatever.
You can lock them down. Right.
Yeah, you can lock them down. Like
You can have private party rooms where you have to be drug into the
drug
room.
into them. Like, so there's just some opportunities there that we just like, that's some people, I think leadership just doesn't understand it. And so they don't understand it. So they just
And
don't do
Rusty's
it.
stance on it. Do it. Create that ministry.
Me create it. Yeah.
And then it gets implemented. I mean, that's how a lot of things that I feel at our church has started is people have just done it, and then it takes off and it gets implemented.
But I would say my counter to that, because I do agree that that's a thing, but a lot of things is like, yeah, sure, I could start it, but I'm basically working a 2-job thing at this point, because to do it right.
Right. Yes.
It takes time,
Yeah. I feel any ministry
at that
does,
point,
though.
why do I even need to start it through this thing? I can just start it myself.
Well,
I
you
don't
start
need
it through this so that you have a platform to take off of.
But I don't. Like, I'm having to create it myself with no
but
support.
where you go get the kids at? Where you go get the people to join?
I can just ask them to join if they
Okay,
want.
so you need them. You need the
No,
church.
I don't need the church, because they're not.
You need the
Sorry.
church.
No, but the church isn't promoting it. They're telling me to do it myself.
No, they're just telling you to start it. They're not saying they won't promote it. Like when I started my foot washing ministry, I
How's that
started
going?
that. I know, right? I started that, but then Rusty still promoted it.
Yeah.
I mean, the
Do you
church
think it would have been
promoted
more
it.
successful if the church like backed you 100% on it and kind of helped? Like when they were like, "Hey, as a church, we're going to start this foot washing ministry."
Well, absolutely,
the homeless?
100%. That would have
Right.
been better. But it also would have been better if I put more time and effort into it.
Yeah.
And the only way I could have, well, no, I won't even say that. I was going to say the only way I could have is if I was full time. Let's be real. If I didn't play video games, I could have put more time into it.
It's like the same people that struggle with money and like, well, stop buying cigarettes. That saves you this much money a month. Stop buying beer. That saves you this much money a month. Stop paying for whatever subscriptions you have. Like all of those things end up adding up.
Right. So yeah, it could have been more successful if I put more time and effort into it. But,
Yeah.
But yeah, Discord would. I feel our church would implement that and would support it. If you can show a cost benefit analysis for it, very little cost, massive benefit, I feel the church would 100% support it and take off with it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, our churches, they definitely will help once you get it established. They will help it if they feel like it's a good thing.
Right.
But final thing, Andrew, I'm currently at Life Church Online's.
Yeah.
They're currently live,
Right.
not on a Sunday,
Right.
not in person.
Right.
It's pre-recorded.
Yeah.
I'm going to get in this chat and say, you guys are forsaking assembling together.
But they're not, because they're meeting. Why does it have to be only on Sunday?
No, they're meeting in that.
I'm using your own
No,
Frankie
no.
Viola logic.
No, that was my whole argument is you can move it to online and still be meeting and you're not forsaking. They are forsaking because they can get their butts to a location. They have locations everywhere. That's what I'm saying.
Well, no, because right now it is Friday morning. Is Life Church having a live service near them that they can get
so
to?
you're going to say this is the only time they can go to church.
Yeah, because this could be in India.
Well,
this could be in Hawaii.
You never know.
Exactly. And if I live in Oklahoma, I can't make it to a service that's going on in
But
Hawaii.
if one person is in Oklahoma or Texas or Arkansas or Missouri or wherever else these guys are, they can probably make it to a Friday, Saturday, or Sunday night service instead of watching it on.
I would agree with that.
That's what I'm saying is I don't think this is forsaking, but it's because of their system that they got going where there's
Right.
people here, there's hosts and there's admins. They connect with them after the service. If they're first time, you can see when people are first time guests.
So you're comparing oranges to apples here.
No,
Life
no,
Church is
no.
built for this. This is what Life Church has established. They literally have teams.
I am not trying. I guess that's maybe our disconnect because you said you weren't looking at through the lens of how our church does it.
Right.
I'm looking at through the lens of like biblically what is right. Like, is being in person have to be it? Or, I mean, I know that there's things that you get in person that you don't get live, but there's things that you get live Sometimes you're more honest with people you don't really know in a small group than people who know you the best because you were worried about their judgment. But what I'm saying is, like, if you take out how it happened on Sunday and you just throw it through a lens on how it could happen, is now one or the other forsaking, especially if they're getting into a house church afterwards, which our church says that's the whole point. We don't care if you come on Sundays as long as you're connected in a house church.
So I also have to say, you keep using the term forsaking, which means abandon. You're not abandoning, because abandon means that you're just giving up. You're intentionally just not doing it because you don't want to do it. That is not what I'm saying. If you physically cannot make it, you are not abandoning. Right. You're not abandoning.
But if you could physically make it in person, but you chose to do online instead, are you abandoning?
If you're putting it in a box, a yes or no, then yes.
Okay, that's where we disagree. That's easy.
Yeah.
Because I feel that the sermon and the worship time and all of that stuff, I feel the way our church feels, that all of that is void if you're not in a house church or you're not in a community of believers.
I agree with that, 100%.
And I think that's what the Bible's talking about. Don't forsake assembling together.
Right.
It's not don't forsake assembling in this picture.
But again, Dusty,
worship service that I'm looking at right now. It's saying don't forsake assembling together in your small group, in your house church, and your people that know you best.
So we just keep re-saying the same thing over and over and over.
We're saying the same thing, but you don't understand what I'm saying.
No, like I am. How many times have I said I agree with you?
But you're contradicting it.
No, I'm not. I'm adding to it. Because, again, you have to go back and change 2,000 years of how it's always been done in order to get to your...
I don't. You keep saying 2,000 years, but the stuff we made is after Jesus died.
Okay, so 1,970
No, because
years.
that was the church did not look like this for the least the first couple hundred years.
Okay, 1,800 years.
When did the Church
of Acts was probably, I'd say 250, 300 BC or AC.
Church start meeting back in buildings after Jesus died? I think it's...
And this was Google, not Chatty. Wow.
Let's see.
So, okay.
Public church buildings did not appear until roughly 200 or 300 years after Jesus.
So me saying 250 AC was spot on.
No, 1500. Are you 250 AC? Yeah.
AC.
Or AD.
After Christ.
30,
AC.
that confused me because I read AD.
Yeah.
And I thought you were saying 250 years ago or whatever.
No.
Yeah, so 300 years after. So what I'm saying is, like, the church that Jesus established and that Jesus grew, and then later we...
Okay, so now we're doing semantics. 1800 to 2,000 years.
We're going back to how man mess up things, and we put it back into like Jesus tore down the veil and we put the veil back up because that's weird, you know. Like,
I don't feel we put the veil back up because everyone knows we have direct communication with Christ now.
But you have to go on Sunday to hear that.
No one has ever said you have to go on Sunday. You are the only person who is saying you have to go on Sunday.
You're saying if we don't.
No, I even agreed with you. You could go Friday, Saturday, and if you don't, then yes.
We have to go to hear the pastor.
To a building.
We have to go to a building.
That's your argument.
To hear the pastor speak. That's forsaking, and I think forsaking is the house church model, the closest model, the people that know you best. I don't think forsaking, assembling together, means doing it on a Sunday morning box
structure.
Dedicated. Yeah.
Which is the whole reason we started this podcast, but it's because of that one thought right there in Frank Viola's book.
Well, I think it was not even Frank Viola's book because our church was founded on that thought. It wasn't founded...
Our church was founded on the house church model thought.
Yeah.
Not the Sunday meet in the church thought.
Exactly.
Right. Meeting with people. Right. Which is what I'm arguing for, is meeting with people.
No, you're arguing meeting with people on Sundays so people who don't know Christ
Right, because that is what, yes, meeting with people. In this case, it's on a Sunday because let's go with the argument, 1,800 years, or let's even go 1,700 years, it's how it's been done. So that is what is established, and so that is what people know. So yes, we have to meet people where they are to bring them to Christ, and then we can change it. We can then change their thought process to a house church model where you meet Christ with just a common believing body. For those of you that can't see, Dusty checked out as soon as I started talking.
No, I was reading this.
I'm not saying that you have to be in the box or in a building in between four walls on a Sunday to meet with God. I am saying that is probably going to be your best way of meeting the lost people without going where they are.
I think that's the worst way of meeting the lost people. Like, you work with lost people, you deal
with
lost
I agree.
people, you talk
without
with lost
going
people.
to where they are. Did I not add that caveat, Dusty?
No, but you're saying come to where... Okay, it's the best way... That's the only other option. They come to us or we go to them.
Right.
I don't know what your problem is.
Right. Okay, so...
Do you want to just... Stop? Okay, keep going.
No, well, I was just going to say, do you work with your neighbors? Probably not. You probably also don't talk with your neighbors. But your neighbors could show up to our church.
They actually have.
Perfect. They can show up to your church, and that is where you could spark conversation. And you're going to meet somebody.
Okay.
I'm not talking you individually. I'm not talking Dusty Hope, your neighbor over here on your right side.
You just told me because I'm an introvert is why you're making the assumption that I haven't talked to my neighbors about church.
I'm making a general statement, but you're in front of me, so I'm saying you.
Okay.
I'm making, but our audience, if I say you, they may. Okay, here, I'll just say I don't talk to my neighbors. Mm-hmm. I have talked to them. I know them okay. I know where one goes to church. I don't know anything about the other than they're retired school teachers. If we're open on a Sunday, they could randomly show up on a Sunday. I don't know. And then I could spark another conversation. Oh, also, I know that she served in the Army. I do know that.
Hey, I'm your neighbor.
Right. I'm sorry I haven't met you or talked to you before, but you could create relationships. It's all could. But if that's in God's plan, God can put them there, but God can also use you in other ways and will use you in other ways if you let him. Anyways, yeah. You were about to ask if we should just wrap it up, and yes, because we're at an hour and a half almost.
And we're just saying the same thing over and over again, so I don't know. We'll see.
It depends on what you edit out, because I've had to go back and clarify some things that you've said I've said.
I don't edit out sections, so if you're clarifying something, it's because you said it wrong to begin with.
No, it's because you interpreted it incorrectly.
What?
That's why. It's interpretations.
I mean, if you're saying the same thing, we're not saying the same thing. I think we're saying the same reason for the different arguments. In a sense.
I feel like we're both saying the same thing, just maybe we didn't. It was a little muddy, and we're clearing up what it was.
I mean, we're not saying the same thing because we disagree.
No, but then we're saying the same things, as in you're saying the same statements, just in different ways. I'm saying the same statements in different ways. We disagree, though. Yes,
but it's weird because we are agreeing on that you can meet online or in person.
Yeah,
and you're not forsaking assembling. That's kind of where we ended up. Is not about snow days. It's about forsaking assembling. And so, because all I was trying to bring up was on the occasional snow day, like, go ahead and do this the other way. I'm not saying that always skip Sunday morning in person. Like, I changed my lifestyle on that pretty heavily, actually. And I go almost every Sunday. I think I've only missed 1 week.
It is. I know. Because it used to be a joke.
And I don't here. And I serve less on Sundays. And so I'm not even there when I'm serving. I'm serving once a month.
Nice.
And so all of that to say is I think that's important. But I think that what's more important is my Monday nights where I'm connecting. And
I agree.
So all I'm saying when it comes to the argument, I'm not trying to make the argument, which kind of is, I think, where we landed was, is online church just as good as in-person church when it comes to meeting and worshiping together?
I don't even think that's the argument. Because I'm not disagreeing.
Because what we're saying is because what I'm saying is to protect your flock, to protect your people,
right,
is on the 1 to 3 times a year, Andrew, that we have an issue where it's questionable. I would side on being like, hey, there's all these other options that limit risk, that can have a good effect if we do it properly. And we can do it for those weeks, and we can come back again and assemble. When we first started our church, one of the ideas was to have it assemble once a week,
right,
or once a month,
or once a month, right? Yeah,
and
not have a physical location,
And I think because it's always the way that we've done it, 2,000 years ago, we've abandoned that policy, and we still try to push because in our hearts we know that my Monday night is better. Monday night's more important for my life change situation.
I agree. My Monday night is
but we have to do the weekly Sunday morning because that's what's expected.
It's not that's what's expected, Dusty. That is where you're going to meet the people who don't come to church, that don't know about the Monday nights. So if that's your argument, then we have just failed to publicly broadcast our Monday nights or our Tuesday nights or our Thursday nights, whatever house church nights are available. We have just failed at publishing that publicly and pushing people to that.
No, I think we failed at going out and reaching people instead of waiting for them to show up. Like your example, which you're not really, like you're not really this person, but with your example of your neighbor, like we are more prone to wait for them to come to us, to our church, instead of go to them next door.
Absolutely.
And I think that's the fundamentally
100%. You are
problem.
Correct. Yes.
And if that changed, and it was more like the Acts church where we were helping each other and we loved on each other in church, that those people would come to us. But they don't see that on our daily lives because we're not with them.
But you also know the Acts church, we get a very narrow look at society, but we're only getting a biblical look. There were still people that the Acts church didn't talk to. I believe the Acts church still didn't necessarily know all their neighbors or go out to their neighbors.
I'm pretty sure they met daily, and they met daily as a house church, and it's actually the Acts church is way more invasive in my lifestyle than going to Sunday mornings. That's part of the problem of the Christian church, is we can be a once a weeker. But with the Acts lifestyle, it says that they went to the temple courts, which is like the main marketplace, and they talked to people daily. They sold everything to help those inside of their group, to make sure that nobody had need.
Inside of their group.
Yeah.
But that's the issue. Again, their group is their body of believers. Were they expanding and helping the people outside of their group as well?
Monday night house
and
church. No, it doesn't say that. It says
I know, that's what I'm saying. We get a narrow look at it. We're not seeing, like, we know our society right now. We know that.
Would the church be more effective if the pastor, instead of working on his Sunday sermons all week and doing all the building stuff, and if we didn't go back to money, if we didn't put all our money into a physical building spot, and instead with what we pay in mortgage and upkeep and renovations and sound
would
equipment.
It be more effective if we put that into discipleship? Absolutely.
Discipleship, or 7 full-time people to go out every day.
Again, that's discipleship.
Into our city. Yeah, that too.
That is discipleship.
Master plan of evangelism isn't one guy to lead 100 people to Christ. It's for one guy to lead one person to Christ, and then those two lead one. But that's what I'm saying is these people didn't wait for people to come to them. They didn't put all their tithe money into the physical representation of upkeep of buildings. They put it into making sure their church was okay. It's just a completely different. And then we abandoned that 300 years after. You know what I mean?
Because and what that tells me is that was ineffective.
No, what that tells me is because it was effective because we are here across the globe believing the same God that we believe now. Somebody from India
wait.
is not going to be coming to our church you know what I mean? But like if you go and to them, all that kind of things,
Dusty,
then you're fine.
We had that for a few hundred years. We've had the other system for thousands of years. Well, over 1,000 years.
No, what
so
we see,
which model is effective?
That people who became saved were former Jews who had lived in that system for thousands of years and said, you know what? Just like the Israelites when they left Egypt wanted to like go back to the Egypt lifestyle, just like the Israelites who didn't have a king, which I think I'll publish next week, the episode we recorded in November. Just like the Israelites didn't have a king, wanted to have a king. Like just because, like they had God's plan, and then they said, "No, I don't want that. I want back to what I already know, what everybody else is doing, what I can see people doing," and that is why I think how the church kind of morphed back into, like when we talk about the pagan Christianity, the concept is that a lot of things were abolished and then slowly pieced back together. And so,
but was everything pieced back together, or was it good parts were brought back?
We started meeting, no, not in my opinion. We started meeting back in a building as a temple. Basically, we started making it look like a temple. Even Catholic would be more of that.
You can't bring Catholicism into this because Catholicism never changed. Catholicism has been the same when Christ was here and after Christ left.
Okay. Then we now have pastors again that are the main preachers and speakers instead of testimonies. Like, there's just a lot of, when you research the early church stuff, the way that they did it, it's morphed back into the same that it had been pre-Jesus. What is it?
Right, you have to look at the Protestant
BC.
Reformation for all that.
Right, which is them bringing back all the stuff again.
But did they bring back everything? We don't know because we weren't pre-Jesus. We don't know what they did. We didn't bring back sacrifices, so they didn't bring back everything.
Yeah, we bring back a sacrifice of praise.
Dusty, shut up. So that's why I'm asking. Did we just bring back what was considered good at the time? And again, at the time, things have changed. We now have like technology, so online services could be considered good. So yeah, did we just bring back the good, or did we bring back? We clearly didn't bring back.
I would
all.
say, judging by history of reading the Bible and the lifestyle of the Israelites, and that they did not bring back a lot of the good. They brought back a lot of the secular into the good. Is how they've morphed their stuff. That we are no better than those guys. If we look at our lifestyle and compare to them,
I would say we're worse.
Okay, so then if we're worse, then you would have to say we brought even more secular into the church operations than we have. You know what I mean? Like that's my thought process.
Yeah.
But
and that's a strong thought process.
To go back to the physical point, and I think if you're part of our church, you kind of in that same mindset. You should be in that same mindset of that process, because that's what we are kind of saying is, if we didn't, our whole goal was to never have a Sunday morning. So then what now?
Okay, what about so
I just hate opening this.
We you bring up a good point. We're talking our church. What about, we've already talked, most of our listeners are Michigan and they get a lot of snow. Do their churches close every Sunday?
Well, there's two aspects of that. It's real snow like what we have.
Right.
And they have,
They're more prepared for it.
I grew up in Iowa. The roads are different. The concrete's different. Like, they salt, not sand. Like, there's a lot of things that they do to prepare for the snow.
We sand because we get ice. They salt because it actually melts snow.
It actually melts snow.
Yeah.
Like we didn't have a ton. Like, the only time we had school was out was when we had blizzards. You know, it wasn't
Exactly.
when we had actual snow. Like today, like we get snowfall where school's out till it melts. You know, like that's how we live here. But I would say it's different in Michigan where they're more prepared for it. Now, if it's snowing the night before, the day before, that's probably their issue. If there's like a big blizzard or big something that happens, like
blizzard, yes,
on a Saturday night.
I could see. I don't know. And maybe somebody from Michigan, if you've listened this long, hit us up on Facebook.
Sorry.
Tell us, when do you close?
Yeah.
And if you close, how do you meet or do you not meet?
Yeah, that would be an interesting situation. But I think that they probably don't close as much as our schools close.
Well, I'm not talking schools. I'm talking church.
But
school is completely different because you're talking students, one driver with 30 kids.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, closing, and those buses don't have the greatest traction. So, yes, close school if there is a
My school
strong
bus
risk.
had chains on the tires. That's how, that's how I grew up.
You're rural Iowa. We are very metropolitan USA.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'd be interested. I mean, to see.
I know you and I are having this argument back and forth on Oklahoma. I want to know how the rest of the country and the rest of the world does.
You know what's a crazy thought, Andrew? Instead of having them come to us, we could just start asking some people.
We could.
Just like how instead of waiting for
a
non-believer to come to us. No, but they have to come to us to tell us first and then come to us. It's like I do marketing, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of companies freaking they are like asking you to give you their information without giving anything back.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so it's
and I hit the X
in the
on
church.
all those.
Church does that a lot. I think is we're ready to help you when you get here. We're ready to do this, but like we have our people, and I'm just joking now because I know you just used it as an example. But we have our neighbors who we don't talk to, but we're willing to talk to if they come to our church first, because then that breaks the ice of the conversation. And
yeah, because a lot of people, I'll even throw myself in there, are uncomfortable with offending somebody so close to you.
Mm-hmm. And so, or even not close.
And making it awkward. Physically. Yeah, because then every future exchange is going to be awkward.
Yeah. And so that's my thought process on that, on all of that. But it really comes down to churches have better ways of communicating online, and it'll make it easier to pivot on days like today. You know, there might be a lot of Michigan churches that just close or they have it or whatever, but everybody kind of knows how to drive. They probably have different cars than we do, trying to get traction in the snow. Probably a lot more four-wheel drive, a lot less pickup trucks.
Yeah,
you know?
more SUVs. Yeah.
So there's probably a lot of things there that are different as well. People grow up knowing how to drive in that kind of weather. Like here it rains and people freak out on how to drive. So
here the sun shines and people freak out. Let's just be real.
But let me know if we have a tornado, we know what to do.
Exactly.
Right? We go outside and we look.
And we chase it.
And yeah. All right. Well, I think we still disagree, but it's whatever. I think that churches should just have a better way of
overall, I feel we agree in the meeting of Christians weekly, whether it's in a house church model. And again, I get it. Just like you, I get most of my benefit from my house church, not from Sunday. But we do disagree in should the church be open or closed.
I think we kind of disagree of why Sunday morning exists, because you're saying it exists for the non-believers more than the believers.
Right. Well, yes. So I would say Sundays are more for the lost, where Mondays are more for the saved.
Okay.
And Monday being house church, because your Monday could be Thursday night. I don't know.
Yeah, it could be any night of the week. It could be Friday right now, church online.
That's right.
Pastor Craig Rochelle's currently preaching. And, man, this chat's blowing up. Now, when he started preaching, the 30 people left. Okay, that's weird. There was
they were just there for the music.
Yeah, they were just there for the music. But I think, because one of my thoughts was we have like a whole team of people that rotate every week of like chatting in the Facebook comments and the live. stuff, and like you could have just had everybody on deck for that. And there's just a lot of things that I think.
Could our church have done it differently? Absolutely.
But
could it have been better? Yes.
I don't even want to blame our church. I
don't want to blame it
either.
either.
Could the church do it? Could the church down the road that doesn't do it, like, are they missing out on some opportunities of connecting closer to God and closer to each other?
Absolutely, they are.
By not doing all of this, are they kind of forsaking assembling when they don't have any other way to assemble besides Sunday mornings? That's what I think.
That's a very deep question, and so I'd have to really process that one before I answered that one.
Good. We'll end on a deep question.
And
who's
we won't
right?
answer
Who's
it.
wrong? Andrew or Dusty? Or are we both right and wrong, and nobody knows what this podcast was about? We would love to hear it. And if you are one of those listeners from Michigan that we see in our analytics or any other northern area, I said it's like Michigan, Wisconsin. There's a lot of
Michigan was just our highest state.
Yeah. So any of you guys got any input? We would love to know, because this has just been a back and forth with zero winners in movement on which that is most of arguments nowadays. Is nobody really cares what the right answer is. It is
just arguing. Yeah.
Arguing if I'm right, and you should just know that I'm right, even though you don't believe that I'm right. Anyways, we'll see you next time.
Take it easy.
Next time I'll have next time most likely will be an episode from November that we recorded. So
take it easy.
And I'm gonna do it one more time.
Take it easy.